Alright, before we begin, make sure that you have your math notes notebook. So I have a composition notebook, you might have this math notebook, and also have your workbook. Okay, so we're going to start off with our table of contents here. So our table of contents, we are still working in 5 NBT B7, and we are going to be dividing decimals, and mine is on page 5, so whatever page you're flipping to, and then once you get there, make sure that you put that this is page 5. Okay, dividing decimals. So if you have your workbook, you're opening your workbook right now. If you have your math notes that you're working from, then you're just using your math notes. We're going to turn to page 61, which is lesson 13 problem set. And we're going to start with our 4 groups of something. Tenths is 1 6/10. So maybe you can't see this decimal very well, but that is a decimal right there. So this, remember, we have been working on in our number talks 4 groups, like 4 groups of would be that multiplication times something equals 1 6/10. So we have been working on that. And then in our part whole box, right, so this would be part times part equals our whole. So here's our part whole box. So part times part equals our whole. We know that 4 is a part. We know that our unknown is a part, and our whole would be 1 6/10. So then, if I know the whole, if I'm trying to equal the part, I need to use division. Whole divided by part equals that other part, right? So what we're really solving is 1 6/10 divided by 4 equals something. So we know that we have 4 groups of some number that when they add it all up to each other, we get 1 6/10. So what we can do is we can think of our whole number facts. That's why we have to have those just memorized, not memorized, but we have to know how to be able to get the answer of a whole number. 4 times what equals 16. So we should be thinking 4 times what equals the whole number 16, right? Well, if 4 times 4 equals 16, then 4 times what would equal 1 6/10. Right, so what would I have 4 groups of? So I see that there is 1 behind the decimal here in my answer, so there's going to be 1 behind the decimal over here. So that would be in this unknown, right? And then I should check, is 4/10 plus 4/10 plus 4/10 plus 4/10, does that equal 1 6/10? So I know that 4/10 and 4/10 is 8/10. And then let's think, if I had 8 dimes, that would be 8/10, and I added another 4 dimes, that would be, so I'm going to do just kind of like a little number line here. So starting at 0, I'm at 4/10. I add another 4/10, I'm at 8/10. I add another 4/10, I'd be at 1 2/10, right? 80 cents plus another 40 cents would be $1.20. And then I add another 4 dimes to that, and I'd be at $1.60, or 1 6/10. 1 6 dimes. So it does in fact equal that. So when I take 1 6/10 and I divide it by 4, I'm going to get 4/10. So I can use that multiplication to help me figure out a division problem. So one of our strategies for dividing decimals, we're going to use this one right here, 7 groups of something thousands equals 84 thousandths. So if I have that one right here, dividing decimals, I have 7 groups of something thousandths. And remember, that's thousandths with a THS on it, is 84,000. So we want to make sure it ends in the thousands place value, right? This would be our thousands place value. This would be our hundredths place value. This would be our tenths place value. So then what I'm doing is I'm thinking 7 groups of, that's multiplication, times some unknown equals this number. So then my plan to find that unknown using my part whole box is I know that part times part equals that whole, so 7 times something equals the whole this. But if I want to know what my unknown part is, what equals the part, when I take the whole and I divide it by the other one. So I'm doing 84 hundredths. And that's why over here we have 84 hundredths divided by 7 would equal that unknown there. So I have 84 hundredths, and I'm going to, thousandths, right? It's ending in the thousands. 84 thousandths divided by 7 equals something. So it's really helpful if we know our multiplication facts for 7. So I'm just going to think those whole number 7 facts. And maybe I don't know my 7 facts, so I can be thinking those whole number 7 times 1, right, would be 7. 7 times 2, just add another 7, would be 14. 7 times 3, so I just add another 7, would be 21. So each time I'm just adding 7 every time. So then 7 times 4 would be 28. 7 times 5 would be 35. 7 times 6 would be 42. 7 times 7 would be 49. 7 times 8 would be 56. And 7 times 9 would be 63. And then 7 times 10 would be 70. 7 times 11 would be 77. And 77 times 12 would be 84. So I keep adding 7 and I get to this number 84. So if I know, that 7 times 12 equals 84, right? Then I'm going to think 7 times, and I'm just going to leave some space, equals 0.084. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal. 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal. What goes here? That would be a 0. So 7 times 12 thousandths, so 7 groups of 12 thousandths, which remember is this number, would be 84 thousandths. And then I can always check, right, by having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. Not writing it correctly. 12 thousandths, 0, 1, 2. And then I'm going to add them all up. This is me checking with multiplication is repeated addition to help me figure out, this is my 7 groups, right? So if I'm taking that 84 hundredths and I have 7 groups, and each group should be the exact same thing. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That means the 1 comes up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0 plus nothing is 0. Bring down the decimal. 0 plus nothing is 0. And I did get that, so I feel very confident that my answer here to 84 thousandths divided by 7 would be 12 thousandths. So I'm using that whole number multiplication fact to help me do a decimal division problem.